Think about moving right here in those joints. There you go. So without going to the chair.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Good. Just stop right there. Good. Well, the rabbi does a pretty good monkey already.
Yeah.
All right. Widen out.
I'm a
here.
natural monkey man.
We all are, you know, like we're obviously share a lot of DNA with our simian cousins. Good. So the head releases forward and up, and you come all the way up, all the way up, all the way up. Good, but without pushing that pelvis past its neutral point. There you go. So that's closer to your neutral point. Good. How are you doing now?
Fine.
Excellent. So we would continue in this work, and then work with getting in and out of a chair. Talk a little bit more about. I'm not sure how much time we have, but talk a little bit more about.
Yeah.
Just tell him about.
We should get to the
just
show.
tell him, and then we'll get to the show.
Yeah.
And then you get to the show.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
go
okay.
ahead. Listen what he has to say.
Okay.
So, especially the relationship of the head to the neck. So we talk about how the muscles of the neck really affect the way your head bounces on the top of your spine, and that has a cascading effect on the way your entire musculature is organized. And if we had time and a table, that'd also help you to widen and relax your back on the table. Yeah, but that's a taste of what the work looks like.
All right. Very good.
Okay. Awesome. So
Let's get into the tour before we lose everybody.
okay.
All right. Thanks,
And-
Adolfo.
Oh, you're welcome.
Hang on. So
You want me to move the chair for you?
yeah, go ahead and move the chair.
You know what? You move that one in all the way. Because
So
this
am I
one can
gonna-
swivel, and I can have a chance to turn it a little bit.
Okay, you're gonna sit with the rabbi here.
You want I should stay for the rest of the
Yeah.
show?
Yeah, well, you don't have to stay for the whole thing if you don't want to, but I want you to sit with the rabbi. The rabbi can talk a bit about whatever he wants to talk about, and I want you to work with him.
To work with. Okay, but let me get my bag.
Yeah, I want you to work with him as he talks about whatever he wants to talk
Okay,
about.
okay.
So he's going to say his Torah thing.
It's going to be real hard, though, to teach while he's distracted.
No, you're not going to say anything.
You won't have to say anything. Just work with him a little hands-on.
Well, yeah, but how am I going to communicate with his neurosystem? I need a
Can
speaker.
you work? Okay, you can, like, figure it out,
Okay.
but as much as you can,
Yeah.
just hands-on.
As much as I can, I will. I'm game, believe me.
Yeah.
All right.
That's
All right.
it.
If you're game.
I'm fine.
I might ask you
Can I get
to,
rid of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
from time to time, to listen to what I have to say, but
All right,
hopefully it won't interfere too much.
Okay.
So you're
All
going
right.
to take that seat over there,
I'm going to sit here?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Oh, where are you going to be tonight?
I'm going to replace Adolfo at some point, but
Okay.
for the next 10 minutes or so.
I'm not even in the camera.
Don't worry.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to fix you up.
Oh, I'm in this one, or for sure? The YouTube one?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big one.
You might want to turn this one a little... Oh, okay,
Don't worry,
okay.
there's like a 10-second delay.
Got it, got it.
So,
All right, so
Rabbi, you
first of all, I
take
just
it
want to
from
say
there.
hello to Henry and Dean Medic and Greg. And we're here tonight. We're going to do Torah talks.
Yep.
We're going to do Torah, so thanks for waiting, folks. They're working on my neck. So we're doing a lot of different things here. Where do you want to start today?
You just do whatever you want to do for the next 10 minutes, and Adolfo's just going to work with
All
you
right,
as you do what you want to do. He's going to help you to do it with
All right,
use.
so we're gonna do a bunch of stuff tonight. It's our first talk since Pesach, right? So I was gonna talk to Levi a little bit about Passover, but I guess we're gonna have to wait on that.
No, you can talk to Adolfo about Passover.
Are you Okay. Jewish?
No,
No.
unfortunately.
Okay.
No, not Jewish.
Well, you're lucky.
But he was interested in Judaism at one point.
All right.
I was.
Yeah.
So the first thing I think we'll talk about is one of our viewers, my friend Jim, wanted to discuss the Judaism, the Torah perspective on certain things in Tanakh. So last time we were speaking about Solomon, and I gave like a whole thing about Solomon. I think it went a little long because I spent over 10 minutes on it. But I think I'm going to spend a little less than that. And I'm going to talk about King David tonight. A lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about King David. They have they think that King David was a sinner and he did some sinning. He did some terrible things. And I want to put the record straight on that King David never did a sin in his life.
Is that true?
It says so.
I had no idea.
Yeah, the Talmud tells us that in Masechta Shabbos, in the tractate Shabbos. The Talmud says that anyone who says that King David sinned is wrong. And he never sinned. The written Torah, the written Bible, if you will,
Okay.
the written had it the way it works is it takes like the greatest people and it tries to make them look terrible. And then it takes some of the worst people and it tries to make them look really good. Okay? But Judaism is not based on the written Torah. Judaism is not a biblical religion.
It is.
No. We're
Okay.
a Talmudic religion. We follow the Talmud. Talmud is the oral traditions, the oral Torah that was given by God at Mount Sinai to Moses. Moses turned it over to the Jewish people, and there was millions of us in the desert, and we've been passing along the oral Torah generation after generation for 3,300 years,
Okay.
since we were in Mount Sinai. The oral Torah was written down, a lot of it was written down in the Talmud at one point, and that's where it says that it explains the whole situation with David. When you look at just the written Torah,
I was gonna say.
it's like looking at a spine.
Right? Oh, interesting.
It's just it's a spine. It's very important,
Okay.
but it's just very skeletal,
Yes.
without the nervous system,
Yes.
without the soft tissue,
Right.
without the cartilage, without the blood system. You don't have anything. You can't get a person to sit up and down. All you have are bones. That's what the written is. So what happened is, you know, the non-Torah world, Jews, people who aren't Jewish, got a hold of these bones. It's like they dug up a grave, and they said, "Oh, look, this is the body.
Right.
This is how the body works."
But they're missing the.
They're missing the whole body
Everything.
because it's
Right.
gone. They don't have it. They've never had the entire body of the Torah.
Okay.
The Torah was never supposed to be given as just a skeletal set of bones, right? It's a whole body, right? And
It's
if
a
you-
gestalt.
yeah, it's like if you take a human
Right.
being, right? This is the Torah. But if you only like take the spine,
Yeah.
that's one component. But on its own, it doesn't mean anything.
Right. Interesting.
You would think that based on just the skeletal, that this thing can't move, it can't sit, it can't run, it can just lay there in the ground, and you would and you would conclude that, and I go, no, you're wrong. It's connected to like this whole body and stuff, and then it runs and it can do all these things, and then you'd be saying to me, oh, you're wrong. And I'm like, what are you talking about? That's how people who are inside Torah understand this. That the Torah itself is like is a complete body. So the whole body of the Torah, if you want to say, explains what happened with King David. First thing we need to understand is the famous story of King David and Uriah. You might have heard of Uriah.
I think so. Yes.
Okay, Uriah Heep. Uriah was a rebel. Uriah rebelled against the king. And the Torah tells us that anyone who rebels against the king is what's called chayav misa, which means they are subject to capital punishment. It's a capital offense to rebel against the king. And David was the king, and Uriah rebelled, and therefore Uriah needed the death penalty. He required the death penalty. Here's the thing that's topical. Like yesterday, they went out and they killed
Osama bin Laden.
Osama bin Laden, right? He didn't get a trial, right? And yet, the president said, what do you call, justice is served.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, how is justice served, right, when there's no trial, in my mind, right? But
It was a trial by public American opinion, I guess.
yeah, public opinion, right?
Right.
Okay. But you know what? He's consistent with President Bush, because President Bush said justice will be served whether he's dead or alive. He said that 10 years ago. He said, we'll find this guy, we'll track him down, and whether we get him dead or alive, justice will be served. So he was just, all Obama was doing was following Bush. They're working on the same, they were on the same page. So the truth is, there is a makor, there is a source for it in Torah. Because Uriah didn't need a trial. Uriah was somebody who's rebelling against the king, therefore you're chayav misa, therefore you don't need a trial. Justice can be served without a trial. Uriah was one of the, I guess you call it general. He was a general in I mean, who rebels against regimes these days? It's always somebody from the military, right?
Right.
So that comes from Torah, because he was part of the military. He didn't believe that David was the right guy, and whatever. So he gave the general a honorable death. He sent him out to the front lines in a war that he knew was going to be a problem. He said, I'll send him out there, rather than putting him through the humiliation of a trial and then subjecting him to capital punishment, you know, where he's going to be like, executed in